Okay. Exterior, swimming pool. Poolside, night. The wind howls above the waters. No one is near. A rustling comes from the opposite the gate. A masked figure hops over the bars and, staying close to the fence, slides their way to the pool house. The door is locked, but they are prepared with gloved hands and brute strength. Is that really being prepared? That's just okay. They lift the door off its hinge. They lift the door off its hinges and toss it inside the building. What kind? What kind of door? Um, we'll edit it. We'll edit it after we finish it. I'm just trying to get up to speed, but I'm just. I also am. What does the store look like? I got a mug. I got a mug made with my logo. Masked figure to themself. Oh, themself. I like it. I'm in. Swimming pool. Pool house. Continuous. The door clatters to the floor, and the masked figure stares at it, wondering to themselves why would they make that much noise. Okay, that's fair. Jesus, something's. Ugh. You ever just get? It's like the eye version of tripping over your own feet. I've got eye in my eye. I don't know why would they make that much noise. They shrug and move on, content with the fact it is a pool hall and no one really no one really cares. Okay, I need to take a second and deal with my eye because I don't know what this is, but ugh, I'm tearing up for whatever reason. And whenever the main thing you're doing is reading, tearing up really not great, not great for the program. They shrug and move on, content with the fact that well, no one really cares. Fair. Towards the back of the small building are three large buckets of chlorine. I'm sure it's coming back to me. I'm I'm positive I was completely sober whenever I wrote this. It's my brain goes weird when I'm panic writing. Exterior, vacant lot. The next day, Sam counts a large handful of cash as a man closes the back doors of a van full of chlorine buckets. Same time next week then? Sam, I'm getting on in the years. There's a territory some ways west with my name on it. Man. So, you're telling me you're telling me the best chlorine team this side of Tato Park is what is this dialogue? Okay. This side of is that even how you spell teeth? Okay. So Tato is Tato Park even okay. Sam, if all goes to plan, then yeah. Man, well, may I tempt you with one final job, score of a lifetime, great delivery, great setup. Sam, no. just just building up that tension. Sam folds up the money and stuffs it in his pocket, leaving the man flabbergasted at his rudeness. Interior Sam's house. Living room. Evening. Sam sits on the couch, watching telly with a beer in one hand and a cigarette. You know, let's do some character development. I know he said we'd uh, edit it after we finish it, but I feel like and a Rolly. Oh, he's saving up his money. And a Rolly in the other. He stubs the smoke. He stubs the smoke out. I'm just. I'm nitpicking a little bit at this point, but just you know, with a sigh and flips off the telly. Oh God, I've got a bad habit of just throwing in just someone just this character sighs. They sigh. They everyone's sighing all the time in my writing. So I hope that's not a thing we're gonna have to deal with. Rising to visit his spare room When he opens it, he smiles as if looking into the nursery of his dearest child. Interior, Sam's house. Spare room. Continuous. The room is covered in Courgette memorabilia. What does that mean? Including posters, Courgette-shaped toy cars, metal signs, and a Courgette-shaped model train, which begins to circle the room when the lights flipped on. Okay, I love that. I love the idea of any sort of model train, like its movements being tied to the lights, energy efficient, and also it's always moving from your perspective. But I just the reason I want to dwell on this a little bit is, I feel like we could build on something, ask the questions the audience is asking. That's which I think that's a value we'll get out of doing this, like over a period of weeks, and then at the very end edit it, because then every time you get a refresher of what the fuck else you know. But the question I want to raise now is, is the story taking place in a universe where Courgette memorabilia is like an actual thing? Is that like an economically viable thing to produce? Is it specialty made? Like, these are questions that need to be answered, and we'll have to answer them in the script. Probably flashback around the midpoint. His father's been stabbed with the Courgette, and he always secretly hated his dad. I don't know. That's why I'm doing this live stream, so that people can throw out ideas, because apparently if no one stops me, I start writing about fucking courgettes. In the middle of all this is a table with a map on it. A plot of land has been circled, which Sam bends down to examine with delight. Sam, not too much longer then, just a few more days. Interior, Sam's house, bedroom, late. Sam, and if you didn't see the last week, the way the program works is the reason why I'm doing interior, Sam's house, bedroom, or maybe it just, or maybe I think slug lines do typically look like that, or at least to an extent, but the way that it's just naturally the intonation that's just coming out of me as I'm reading them, it's throwing me off a little bit. So Sam wakes up in a cold sweat and checks the time. It's 4 in the morning, which, because for some reason when you wake up in the middle of the night in a story, like, if especially a visual medium, 90% of the time 4 in the morning, either 4 in the morning or 3 in the morning. Like, but it's mostly 4 in the morning. I don't know why. Maybe it's just because it's an ungodly hour. I mean, I used to get up at 4 in the morning, and it's a kind of work schedule that makes you feel it cuts the tension of, what, I'm getting off topic, and I obviously can't figure out what the hell I'm saying. But he's up at 4 in the morning, and like everyone does, he gets up to fix himself a glass of warm milk. I thought he was getting water, but yeah, warm milk, grand. As he sleepily walks to his house, there's a sound, shattering sound from the other end. We'll fix it in the rewrite. This wakes him up. He's already woken up. More. Or it wakes him up. Whatever. And he sneaks back to his room for a bat. Interior, Sam's house. Hallway, continuous. Hunched down and now wielding a bat, Sam takes the corners of his hallway carefully. There's a slight squeaking underfoot, to which he winches. As he closes on the kitchen, Another bat lashes out of the darkness and knocks him unconscious. Which, I mean, with the dissection of tropes, or the like mild sort of poking fun at the typical way scripts write, which is more of a uh, more just coping for the fact that it's not a good script. Because if it's lampshading, it's just lampshading. It's it's like in I think I saw this point out about the Tarzan remake, the live action one, where your one is on the boat is like, oh, I'm not going to be a damsel in distress. You're not going to do it, or whatever her reaction is, and it's just like, just because you have a character say point out the whole damsel in distress is a tired and overplayed thing, and probably has some sort of lame amount of misogyny in it. Just because you lampshade it like that, uh, it doesn't mean you're not doing it. Which I'm getting upset about things I'm doing. But I do appreciate lampshading when it's used correctly. If you don't know what lampshading is, it's where if there's just a plot hole somewhere where you don't know how to fix it, or it needs to kind of be there for the plot to move along, what you do is you do a nod to it. You put it you put a little lampshade over. I think that's where it comes from. Where basically the idea is like, if I was complaining about people uh, constantly pushing their merch, and then and shouted out, I don't have any merch or store yet. That would be lampshading. Is if I'm complaining about people selling their merch while making my hypocrisy very evident. That's a form of lampshading. Or like if after he's um been knocked out, if it's pointed out that that usually will cause some like serious damage. If you're unconscious for a certain amount of time, you need to go to a hospital. You that's a concussion. That's brain damage. Um, and in the next scene, someone's just like, "Oh, don't you need to go to the hospital?" And he's like, "Uh, yeah, but that's not convenient for the movie because at this point, being super meta is it's a fine cop out. That would be lampshading. I don't know why I got off on this tangent, but the more you know. So, interior, Sam's house, hallway, day. Waking up on the floor, Sam feels the sore welt on his head. The house has been completely cleared out, including the fridge. He stumbles as he rises, slightly concussed. Oh, okay. At least a notation in the action. To check on his Courgette room. Interior, Sam's house. Spare room, continuous. The room is completely bare, and even the map has been taken, except for a small scrap torn and left behind. Why? Sam drops to his knees, cradling the map scrap as tears begin to run down his face. He curls up into a ball and cries on the floor. I mean, at least he's expressing his emotions. Exterior, gas station. Pay. Hold on. Later. Sam wipes his face and clears his throat before dialing the phone. He looks around hurriedly and leans towards the payphone, cupping the receiver. The receiver? This is the receiver, yeah? And this is this. Okay. To avoid being heard. Hello? Man, I forgot about this. I didn't want to just. Since he was becoming a minor character, or apparently like a side character or something, I didn't want to just keep calling him Man, but I was too lazy to actually think of a name, so I just, I just went with Manny. Hello? Manny speaking. Hello? Sam. They took everything. Okay. I called that out. They took everything. Manny. Bobby? Told you to stop fucking around like this. Sam. No, it's Sam. I got robbed. Manny. Oh, Jesus. Is that why you're calling me on a payphone now? Sam. Yes, that is why I'm calling you on a payphone now. I feel like we could make that dialogue less, bad. Manny. Well, what do you want me to do about it? Sam. I'm gonna stop reading out the jarring fucking character names because it's on the screen. You can see it. You were talking about a job the other day. I'm in. Also, could you bring me a phone and also a sandwich? Fucker even took my fridge. They fucker. They fucker even took. They fucking. The fuckers. What was it? What was it trying to say here? The fuckers even took my fridge. Manny, no worries, mate. Where are you? I'll come pick you up. Interior. Diner. Later. Sam masticates a sandwich, a word choice motivated by the few amount of times I've gotten to use the word masticate since I learned it. It's such a useless word to know. Nearly ripping it in half to eat it faster. Manny sits silently. Manny sits silently, waiting for Sam to finish eating. Sam wipes his face coarsely with a napkin and takes a long drink of water. Sam. All the money's gone, and I'll be auctioning off the land in 3 days. See? Ticking clock. You know, adds stakes. No worries. You'll get the money and more. This is a high-ticket job. How am I possibly meant to steal that much chlorine in such a small window of time? Well, it's not just chlorine you'll be after here now, yeah? Sam lowers his voice and gets closer to Manny. I told you no more bank jobs. It get too messy. Manny says nothing, but simply slides a piece of paper over to Sam. Exterior. Mansion. Night. At night. I don't know why with the slug lines I'm doing the SpongeBob voices, but I feel like it'd be weird if I didn't acknowledge it. Sam sits in his white windowless van, looking at the address written on a sheet of paper. He eats the paper. Was that okay? Just necessary. Uh, yeah, leave it in. He maybe just likes eating paper. The then exits a vehicle to get closer to the house. Manny grabs him and whispers in his ear. Don't forget, those are my own tools, so do not leave them behind. Great exposition there. Sam rolls his eyes and makes for the back garden wall. He throws up a grappling hook and pulls himself on top, staying low. Setting the hook down the other way, he lowers himself onto the grass. He creeps along the back garden, sneaking into the pool house. This time, he'd been lent a set of lockpicks, which he fumbles with and drops. He places his hand on the door to keep himself up as he tries to pick them up. And to his surprise, the door swings open, tossing him to the floor of the pool house. Interior, mansion, pool house, continuous. Sam brushes himself off, shaken, not stirred, and stands up. That was a bad joke. He walks deeper into the pool house to look for the chlorine. There are 20 buckets, heavier than usual, and when he opens them up, he finds chlorine tablets laced with gold. He starts to fill his backpack, intending to make multiple trips, but as he moves the buckets, he reveals a corpse stashed between them. Mansion, later. Sam, and thinking, sprints for the rope back over the wall and sets off security alarm. He is struggling to pull himself up with the weight of the gold, and he can hear dogs barking in the distance.